jacket. I'm going to put on the pricing hat for you here and share a couple of nuggets that I think and hope will be helpful for you as you're navigating these unprecedented, again, for most of our lifetimes in the working world, unprecedented levels of inflation. Everything's going up, from raw materials to components to energy to freight to gasoline to healthcare to everything, your coffee service. There's nothing that's not more expensive than it was. And that's causing a lot of margin compression for some of you. And if you look at these, how long it's been since we've experienced this inflation, it's been since 1981 that we had such increases in the CPI. Some of you were alive then. Some of you were in business then. Very few of you were running a company. If you remember that, great, share your wisdom with us. The PPI, a measure of B2B pricing and inflation, is the highest it's been since 1974. And the commodity price increase has never been this high. Now, this can feel like a challenge, it can feel like a problem, but from my lens, it's a huge opportunity. There's never been a better time in my adult lifetime, and in most of yours, that you've been running companies. If you've not been doing that for over 40 years, I'd like you to consider that these are uncharted waters for you. And it can feel really bad because we get the cost increases like crazy. But there's never been a better time. There's never been a more conducive environment for price increase. Your customers expect it. They're numb to it. They're budgeting for it. They're not going to tell you any of that. They're going to tell you you can't. And they're going to throw you out on your ear if you try. And they're going to bid you out. And they're going to shop you. And they're going to do all kinds of things to try to convince you that this is not the right time for pricing. But I am telling you, they see it coming. And they're ready for it. They're ready to accept it. And how do I know? Because you guys are getting price increases from every one of your suppliers. And you hate it, and you groan, and you negotiate, but you're accepting them too. Your prices are going up. It's inevitable right now. And your customers know that it's inevitable. Sometimes we feel like when we're pinched in the middle that all the suppliers have all this power and all the customers have all this power and I have none, but that's not true. So we've got to ride the wave. Be on the wave. Don't wait till after this slows down. Be at the front end of it. Now, some of you are thinking, Casey, I got this. I'm already, rolling out price increases. I'm on my third one this year. And okay, well, good. You did one yesterday. Start planning the next one tomorrow. Because this is not going away fast. And we've got to be faster in our decision making and better in our execution. Which brings me to where I see some companies fall down in their execution. So this graph here, this line represents the cost increase over time, going way up. And any delay between that happening to us and us moving that through to a price increase to our customers, whether that delay is an hour, a day, a week, a month, a year, we perseverate, we worry, we think about customers, we plan, we fear, we worry about it, we talk about it, we think about it, and then we do a price increase. Any delay is costing you margin during that time period that you can never get back. The other thing that happens, so it's not just that it's too late, it's too little. We don't get what we came for. We set a price increase target that's maybe margin neutral or maybe a little bit advantageous to margin, but we don't realize the whole price increase. Our execution of price increases could be better. And it's because we worry about what sales volume we're going to lose. We decide not to take a price increase to our biggest customer or take less. And we worry that we're going to lose volume, and so we cave and meet in the middle and fall back and discount because we're afraid. And this is costing you margin as well. So it's too little, it's too late. And this brings me to a little bit of advice I have, a little bit of pricing do's and don'ts. So the do's, very simple. Raise your prices. Raise them again. Raise them faster. Double the number you're thinking about. Terrify yourself. If it feels safe, you're doing it wrong. I told you, pricing's dangerous. So do it more, do it faster. That's it, that's the whole do's. Okay, let's move on to the don'ts. Let's move on to where I see some things happening in the business community that I think is costing you some margin. The first is not to make the mistake of justifying your price increases exclusively because the costs are going up. Now, it can be part of the story. It's a relevant, appropriate reasonable message that your costs are going up, and that's part of your price increase reasoning, your justification. But don't tie your price increase exclusively to cost increases. Wrap your value story around it, how you make a bigger difference for them, how you solve problems for them in a different way. Because if you don't, two things happen. One is it makes you very, very vulnerable for that customer coming back and knocking on your door and asking for that money back the moment the market softens. But the deeper and more painful reason not to do this is you're telling your customer, you are admitting to them that the only reason that they should pay you more than they paid you yesterday is because the cost of the stuff you buy went up. It strips you from your value, and you're telling them about it. Michelangelo painted the Sistine Chapel. He was paid 3,000 ducats to do it. That was about $500,000. A lot of money for a piece of art. Now, it's one of the greatest pieces of art in human history, but he was still paid a lot of money for it, and it had nothing to do with the cost of his paints. Don't tie just on cost alone. Number two, don't believe what your customers tell you about pricing. Your customers are not telling you the truth about prices. Sometimes they are curating the information they share. They're only sharing the information that supports their best interests. Sometimes they're outright lying to you, fabricating quotes and invoices. As we say in the pricing biz, buyers are liars. Look, it can be hard in industries where you have good, warm, friendly, partnership-type relationships with your customers. But you've got to consider that your customers are human beings, and human beings act in their own self-interest. And they would be acting against their interest if they were fully forthright about how much they need you and how much they love you and how, no, there isn't somebody else down the street that can do it for less, as good as you do it. So they're not going to do that. They're going to hold that back. Think of the last time you bought a car. If you go to 3 lots, you don't tell the cheapest one, hey, you're the cheapest, but please still give me a discount. You don't do that. We hold back information. We don't tell the truth as buyers, but we forget what it's like to be a buyer when we sell. Now, this in and of itself, oh, yeah, I forgot this story. When you go very prepared to have a price increase with your customer, you have excellent justification, you've put in all the work, you've prepared how you're going to handle price objections, you've prepared how you're going to talk about value, you've role-played, you are ready. And your price increase is very reasonable, it's very justified. You want to go to your customers and see this from them. Because you deserve it, it's fair, it's right. But you don't ever see this from them when you tell them you're increasing prices. You see this. They scream, they yell, they threaten, they cajole, they throw a stapler at your head, they throw a temper tantrum. They tell you you're out on your can if you don't discount, that they're not accepting it, that if you accept it, they're going to put you out to bid. They tell you all kinds of things. Many of them are not true. Now, it's not problematic to me that customers lie to us. That's human nature. We can't argue with human nature. It's problematic to me that you believe them. 82% of sellers, and this is on a statistically significant sample size of almost 700,000 salespeople. And this data comes from the Objective Management Group, who we partner with to assess salespeople and use that for training and hiring. Out of almost 700,000 people that sell, 82% believe what the prospect tells them. They believe what they're being told about pricing and other things. And if you believe your customer about pricing, you have lost the price excellence game. Noisy data is data that's corrupted or distorted by noise that makes it hard to see the signal, that makes it hard to see the truth. Well, the analogy in pricing is that the complaining, threatening, throwing staplers, that's noise. That's not data. That's not market intel. Let me say this again. What your customers share with you about pricing is not market intel. And it is not data. It is noise. The only data happens when they choose to buy from us or they don't. That's data. The rest is noise. Now, why this is so problematic is we hear all that noise and it affects our confidence and we get afraid. Which brings me to my third one. Don't price from fear. Don't price from fear. Now, in my experience, being a very, very, very geeky pricing person for 25 years, most pricing decisions are made from fear, not confidence. We mostly price not to lose rather than pricing to win. And it's because we feel like we don't have power. Back to the poker analogy. We're sitting there at the table, we're sweating, we're looking at our hand, it doesn't look great, we're sure they have all the cards over there. But I invite you to consider that that power dynamic that feels like they have all of it and we have none of it is not true. We feel like that because they're up here making it rain, writing checks, cutting POs, and we're down here hoping they buy our stuff. But the power dynamic is much closer to this. We can have the confidence that we're holding pocket aces. And why do I say it? Because they're going to buy these products and services from someone. Why not from you? Do you believe in what you sell? Do you solve a real problem for your customers? Do you deliver excellence in the form of your products and services? Do you wrap excellence around them in the way that you sell and serve them? If you do, I invite you to consider that you have a strong hand to play. We don't need to price from fear. We can price from confidence. Play your aces. Thank you very much.